great teammate. There wasn't a single guy in the room that didn't like him. He got along well with everyone. He was quiet but hilarious. And for a junior hockey player, it was clear that he was a leader. We also acknowledge that Carter's passion for hockey extended beyond the junior Vicks. He was also a dedicated and enthusiastic coach of the U13AA Bruins Brown team last season. The Bruins posted Carter's commitment to the game and to the players he mentored will never be forgotten. Carter gave back because he cared. Our thoughts and heartfelt condolences go out to his family, friends, and all those whose lives he touched. At this time, we ask that you please stand if able and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
On a night where we are all rush strong, this is the 2025-2026 mmjhl season opener, live from St. Vital Centennial Arena between the Fort Garry Twins, the visitors, and the home side in the St. Vital Junior Victorias. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator, Graham the G-Show Forsyth. We're getting going a bit later than expected, just due to, well, internet problems here at the Centennial, but we got those sorted out, at least we think so for the time being. These two teams are ready to drop the puck, and the Victorias tonight dedicating this season to, now, well, they got him on their roster, but a teammate that passed away tragically, and what a moment to put it in a spot where Carter Wilson would be, as both teams having respect here. An amazing tribute from the St. Vital Junior Victorias, letting 17 seconds exactly go off the clock. An ovation here from the crowd as we get set to play. The Vics now with 5 skaters on, and we drop the puck here officially on a new season. So we're going to fix our camera angle as this game goes along. Let me tell you, mmjhl fans, it was a struggle to set up. With tryouts and stuff happening before, the amount of stuff we have to tape, the cords we have to run, not great. So we're going to fix this angle as this game goes along, most likely coming up in the next period. As that saved by Mason Tebek, as he gets a stoppage with 19:14 remaining on this first period clock. The game brought to you by Elite Prospects, Movement, Fitness, and Performance, Elite, Terrico, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, and Goaltenders. The Victorious play this up. It's dropped back now for number 5 and Ben Dinez. Dinez holds on to this down low, tries throwing it out in front to a covered Chris Astorino. As Astorino trying to get this back. Instead it gets to the line to Jackson Green. Rookie sends it in deep. Where it'll be played up by number 14 in Headland, now out by a teammate he passed it to, as this ends up all the way down into the crease, occupied by Mason Tebek, wearing number 30 this year for this victorious side. As the Victorias start to break out, it gets kicked up now, and alone on the goaltender, dangles, and oh, what a save made by, I believe, Alex Pauls on number 5, and Ben Dinez, who had a great chance early here. Rookie for this year's Victoria's team, Jace Matthews, plays this just out of the reach for Bionkor. He has played across to Green. Green surveying his options. A little step to the side before sending that in deep. Pauls looked like he was going to go out of his net to play it, but decided to just leave it. Canoe along the boards. Battles with a few Victorias in 16 and Godfrey, along with number 11 in Mitchell Hill. But this gets back down into the Victoria zone. So it tries to be reversed by Kobe Edwards, one of the returnees to this year's Victoria side, now rimmed around to Godfrey. Godfrey can't quite get it out as it's sent right back in by the Fort Garry Twins. Kept in deep, now rimmed around. That behind number 16 in Godfrey, but ends up out anyways. That's across to Caligari now. He'll have some room to skate it as the Vicks went off for a line change, but closed on him pretty quickly. So he decides to just dump it in before going off himself. That pass off of a Twins skate, so it ends up back down to the Vic zone, reversed by Cedric Comte. Tried to get it to number 2 and Benji Pepper. Pepper was tied up along the boards. Gets it back now into skates and flips it out off the boards, where it will be Holmes to chase it down. Holmes spins and fires this up to number 7 on his side, and Daniel Hamill, or an AP for this team tonight, sorry. Or maybe not. It's actually Gruner. It's not on the game sheet. Gruner laying the body along the boards, knocked to Victoria down. The Vicks get this right back in, sent in by Blake Goretzky, who's looking to be maybe perhaps the biggest leader on this Vicks decor this season, one of the few returnees they have on the back end. Is that a physical play by Luke Elliott into the slot? Edwards can't let it go. Gets it to Goretzky. Goretzky ends up just firing that back. We got a stoppage in play with 16:04 remaining. As Luke Elliott, a great feed in front. Edwards just couldn't make it work. There's a veteran line out there for this Victoria side. Connor Mitchell, supposed to center, but gets kicked out of the draw. Draws in Luke Elliott now for this Vic side. As Elliott won it towards the far side wall, now up to the point. Goretzky shot unable to quite get through, so it's blocked up by Daniel Hamill. This is back up for Edwards. Far side, Edwards tries feeding that into the middle for Luke Elliott, but denied by Livingstone. Or by Headland, sorry, as he plays that across to number 5 and Babenko. Babenko lost it along the far side boards in the Vicks end, now scooped up by Connor Mitchell, as Mitchell surveying his options. Plays that off the boards past Osterino, as I should say. Number 4 and Tavian Barnes. A bit of trouble down low, his teammate in to help, but he lost it as well as the Vicks try to make their way towards the Twins' net, but denied there. As it's played near boards to Scott. Scott down the right side, fending off of Victoria and Hillis into the low slot, but that fanned on. That pass teed up right there for Daniel Hamill. As physical play along the boards, a hit by Astorino. Now Astorino lays another hit on Babenko in the neutral zone. Got up off the stick of Dinez. It's now back to Jorgen Nell in the Vicks, and Nell's pass way off the mark and all the way down for an icing. So he tried to hit Astorino with the pass. Unable to. By the way, we will be fixing our camera angle here during the intermission, which we'll get to just the outlook for these teams. And of course, we are all Rush strong tonight. This game being played in the memory of Carter Rush Wilson, tragically lost his battle to brain cancer in August. He was only 19 years old. The Victorias, let me tell you, doing it the right way, making him their captain and keeping him on their roster, so if this team, anything they do, anything they accomplish, he'll be a part of it. Keeping him alive in their memory this season, both on and off the ice. And also great to see the Rush Strong shirts that were worn by some fans coming into the building, and the warm-up jerseys the Vics wore, which had 17 on the backs of them and Rush Strong on them as well. So apologies about a moment before the game. Didn't realize we were on mute, but a passage about Carter Wilson talking about his life in hockey, honoring who I haven't met or didn't meet. Get a chances. Here a goal for the Twins. Lizotte in tight on to Beck. It gives the Twins the 1-goal lead. That goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Was able to get in tight on number 30 and put it home. The goal brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, the premier sports cards and memorabilia store here in the city of Winnipeg. It's Lizotte who gets the opening goal of the season here in the MM. The opening goal for his Fort Garry Twins. As the Victoria's looking to respond now. It's played up Goretzky, joining the rush. Goretzky with a step in tight, tries going 5-0 on Pauls, but denied, net off as well. It's a great rush there from number 3, and something that I'm sure we'll see him do often this season. Showcased his offensive ability last year. Really great passer, transition player, and can carry the puck no problem end to end, as we just saw there. As for the Victorias, draw 1 as is played to the opposite D-man. Denied there as it wasn't able to get through. Benji Pepper with the shot attempt as Hedlund joins the rush. Hedlund, his shot, glove down this time by Mason to Beck. Yeah, as we were cut off, or I was cut off by a goal scored by Lizotte. It's great to see those warm-up jerseys. Great to see the Victorias, of course, honoring their fallen teammate. And great to hear the great words about him before the game in the moment of silence. And, of course, letting 17 seconds off the clock, putting it in the spot where Carter Wilson would usually be on that left defense side. The Vicks only starting with 4 players out. Shout out to Fort Garry. Of course, I'm sure that was agreed upon before the game for them to let that happen, for them to let 17 seconds go by before the actual game started. So that pass couldn't get dropped back to Connor Mitchell. Luke Elliott was the one who tried to get it to him. And Benji Pepper with a bump on Canoe there at neutral ice, but still the Twins able to get in. Jace Matthews, his shot from a sharp angle, was off the side of the net, rims around. As for the Victorias, really get it up, but watch out. Pepper almost blows a tire. He did, but almost. It could have been costly for him there. As this chipped off the boards up to Astorino, as I should say, is that called for an offside. So we got a stoppage with 11:59 remaining. As Ben Dinez to take the draw for the Victorias. Jaden Lamoureux for the Twins as Lamoureux wins that draw back to Caligari. Caligari cross ice to Młodzinski. Młodzinski has his pocket pick there by number 8 down low in Saxburg. Lose the battle though. This now blocked up at first by number 7 and Daniel Cross. Will be played out finally by the Twins as Jorgen Nell D to D and gets it right back from Dinez. Now Nell tries to stretch this up to Saxburg, but off the wall all the way down to the Twins end this goes. Dinez tried to block that, couldn't. Daniel Cross with it, sends it in deep. It's a delayed offside on the play still. The Vicks able to come back into attack as it's played D to D for the Twins, and now up. Great transition as it's to Kinner. Tries to play that ahead to Lamoureux, but had his pass blocked up as the Vicks now transition up the other way. Saxberg has now with them joining the play, but has that glove down by Pauls on the save. He reached across the body to snag that. So we get a stoppage with 11:03 remaining. Try our best to in this one to make space for people to sit beside us. Good to see the crowd out here tonight as this one to Cedric Compte. That shot low, turned aside by Pauls. Not out of play as it took a funny bounce off of the end glass, the plexiglass along the boards. In the Fort Garry end. Is Fort Garry trying to get a step by? They do. Babenko, his shot denied. Sorry, that was Hamill. Scott Fans on it. Has a chance there for the Twins. At the wayside. It's a great job by Tebec. Challenge. Rebound wasn't there, of course. It was fanned on. So the Victorias worked this up to the point. It's to Hayden Willis. Willis sidestep before sending it down low into the area of Carter Lee. In the body on a Twin, now gets it back. Lee around the net, tries finding Mitchell in the slot, but too close. He was right on top of Paul as this flipped. Now for Babenko, trying to chase this down. He does, takes a rub along the boards by Willis. Babenko tries to whip this down low, gets it successfully to Scott, but he gets pinned up along the boards by Mitchell. This sent out by Willis. We'll have a face-off coming up inside the Victoria zone. So you're watching mmjhl Game Day on October 2nd. Yes, of course, we are all rush strong tonight. This game being played in honor of Carter Wilson. He's the captain for the Vicks this year. His jersey will be on their bench all season long. That shot wide of the net from number 13 in Jackson Green. Played up by Luke Elliott to the point to Connor Mitchell, who can't hold it the second time in as the Twins cleared it out. Spencer chasing this down. Takes a bump from a Victoria. As the Vicks go D to D in their own end. Now drop back by Elliott as it gets played across to Goretzky. Up back to Elliott. He redirects that in, goes off for a change. Hounding a Twin on the forward check. Mitchell Hill. This now gets to Balshaw, captain this year for this Twins side. One of their few returning players. This gets through the Twins defense, but Paul's able to make a huge save on number 16 and Godfrey. The rookie dangerous. As for this Twins side, almost a costly pass up the middle. It's almost turned over. Held in at the point now by Benji Pepper. Along the wall, Godfrey pinned up. In for help, number 11, and Hill, who takes that shot right into the breadbasket of Paul's. He denies it. As Hill, one of two APs in this game tonight for this Victoria side. As him and Cross are listed as APs on the Vicks game day sheet. Cross out there right now. His teammate Dinez tied up in the face-off circle by Matthews, allowed for the Twins to get possession of it. Now sent out off the boards near side by Canoe into neutral ice. Cross, a good job at recovery. Now he's looking to take it past Canoe. Tried to chip it off the boards, but got tangled up with Canoe afterwards. Sent right in by Cross. Is Dinez for his forward checker. And give a huge bump there on Caligari. Knocked him off his balance. Sending a message here, one of the rookies for the Victorias. As the Twins try to weave their way through. It's Biancourt. Gets it down low to Canoe. Takes a bump from Cross. So those two going at it. Cross went off after Biancourt. Now gets to the point. Caligari tries to get that through, but blocked up by Pepper into the slot. Just poked away into the corner by Matthews. Trying to keep possession for this Twins team. They do for the time being. This ends up out of play. So we'll get a stoppage with 7:43 remaining in this first period, brought to you by McCann Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. His face-off draw will be to the glove hand side of Tobacco, won by the Victorias as Pepper plays this off the boards, D to cross. Now directed out off of the stick. Number 8 in Saxburg. Heavy collision down low in the twin zone. Dinez was in the battle. As this gets passed now to the area of Tyler Free. Is Free plays this off the boards and back to a teammate as Free. Gets it right back. Has a bit of trouble with it. Lamoureux is right there covering him. Vicks back to Willis. Now up towards the blue line to Carter Lee. Nice protection by Lee. Feeds this to the middle, but cut off right away by Garry, and all he does is send this out. Willis sends it right back in. Holmes goes D to D. There's 2 returning D out there right now for the Twins. A bit of a misplay, though, in their own end. Allows for this to be passed up to the point for Nell. Deflected high of the net. Nice tip in the slot. As Paul's a bit late reacting to it, too. The Vicks, quick one-timer from the point. Sticked out of play, this time on the stop by Paul's. As his Fort Garry Twins lead right now by a score of 1-0. It's number 19, Matt Lizotte, with the go-ahead marker. Kolbiski in to take the draw, lost it to a Victoria. As the Vicks get it back, this towards the net, into the skates of number 5 and Dinez, but denied by Pauls in tight. As he keeps this a 1-0 lead for this Twin side. Beck left it, I believe that's no, quick pass cut off right away. As Godfrey had it intercepted. Able to get it out, however, as it forces for the Twins to go D to D. Regroup in their own end. Beck out of his own net. Try to leave that for a teammate, and he did. It gets to Willis. Willis cuts through 2 Twins with strength. Willis by Daniel Hamill gets us in deep. As the Twins try to rim it around. And huge, almost big collision there from Kolbiski, but a Victoria stepped out of the way, saw it coming, and Hill. I believe that's going to be a penalty coming up. It will be to Kolbiski, which will put St. Vital on the man advantage for the first time in this season. A power play last year that had its struggles, even though it was chock full of talent. Just had trouble sustaining the zone, or much rather I'd say just having trouble transitioning in the zone. Once they were able to establish, they made some dangerous things happen. Goretzky shot dangerous, turned aside by Dinez. He gets it right back. So that was Pauls who denied it, sorry. Dinez, it keeps it in. So it gets to Goretzky. Goretzky over to Saxburg. His shot denied by Pauls. This is a double minor for this Fort Garry Twins side, and this power play brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Chase Matthews to take the draw for the Twins. Someone's getting kicked out here. I believe it's going to be Kobe Edwards. Puts Dinez into the face-off circle against Matthews. A tie-up by the rookie. Can his teammates help him out? They do. Now just held in at the point off that pass by Goretzky. Quickly gets it down low into the direction of Edwards. Edwards to Dinez. And gets it right back to number 23. Edwards right back to Dinez. Drops it up top to Goretzky. Quickly over to Saxburg. Back to Goretzky. His shot through, denied by Paul. Saw it very well. As for the Vicks, they work across ice. It's over to the point to Dinez as Dinez spinorama tries to fire that pass to Saxburg, but intercepted by Garry. Up all the way off the boards. Down into the Vicks end. Dinez, first one on this. Beat out Biancourt to the puck. Dinez dropped this back and it gets fired in around the boards in the Twins end as the Vicks tried to establish possession of it. Now flipped out by Biancourt. Sends Matthews, who may get to this first. He does against Nell. Stops up. High delay. Just decides to control this and get this right back into the Twins end. Sent in now. Shot from range. Right from the Twins end by Holmes. On to Beck. The Twins getting fresh legs out allows for the Vicks to transition up, but that pass cross ice intended for Mitchell over number 14's stick ends up right back down to the Vicks end. Stabek played that to Jorgen Nell. Nell leading this breakup out as Zub Elliott, his shot high of the net. Nice cross ice feed by Mitchell to get it to him. It's a bit of a track meet now on the special teams sequence as that spinorama behind the back pass was intercepted. Now taken away by Elliott in his own end. Near side, cuts to the middle. Elliott has 4 Twins around him. His teammates now joining the fight, but that pass at the point can't be held in by Nell with a minute 37 remaining on the power play. This gets sent back down to the Victoria zone. Spencer will go off for a line change. Allows for the Vicks to break out. Nice moves by Goretzky at his blue line. Now past the Twins' blue line. What an effort by Goretzky, but denied by Pauls. Loose puck still there. The Vicks go wide of the net. Dinez took the shot. So I believe the net went off, but Goretzky for a second time in this period with one heck of a rush. Starts in his own end. A quick little inside-outside move totally fools a Twins player, has open space to skate through the neutral ice, and then decimates the Twins defense on a beautiful move to eliminate him. Just couldn't get it past Pauls. Was one of the best goaltenders in the league last season for the Twins. Pauls is going to have to, I think, maybe elevate his game as well as the rest of this Twins side. Had a pretty good period, all things considered, but a team that lost quite a bit of talent on the back end as well as up front. I'm sure Scott Wong very confident in this year's Twins team, as he always is, and he'd tell you it's a process. The process looking really good tonight as Lamoureux holds this wide before firing it towards the net. Couldn't get it there, but Sam Kinner able to take this away and send it into the neutral zone where the Twins maintain possession with under a minute left on this Vicks man advantage now. As Stabek, Vicks had to be careful there. Stabek left it for Goretzky. A Twin was pressuring him right away, but Goretzky building speed once again. This time is Dangle denied on the inside. That was a nice shutdown by Caden Hedlund on the rush defense. So the Twins get some fresh legs out. So do the Victorias, as under 30 seconds remain on the man advantage now, which was dealt to Kolbiski for a double minor. So I'll have to check what that was that warranted a double minor coming up at the end of this period, or actually during the intermission, as Green got knocked off as lying along the boards. We're back to even strength now after a victorious power play. Doesn't suffice into any goals for the team. They had 4 minutes to work with, a chance to tie this game up. They had some good opportunities but couldn't capitalize and put it past Pauls. And the Twins also a good penalty kill, some shorthanded chances, and able to control the puck as well before sending it in deep into the Victoria's end. They worked it all around the Victoria's power play. I feel like that should be the opposite end around as Balshaw, his shot just wide of the net, or did that go off a post? Not quite sure, but it was a dangerous shot there from number 11 as we're into the final minute of play here of this first period. At the line, cross stripped. Number 2 of the pocket there, and Holmes. As Holmes sends this in deep. Willis first one on it. Reverses this to the near side to Cross. Cross tries to feed that up the wall, but pinned up by Canoe. Gets down low. Number 15 in Hayden Willis. Got it free to a teammate, now across to Edwards. Maybe some late period magic here for the Vicks, but first an offside called. At 33.5 seconds remaining, Edwards was leading that rush in. Taking a pass from his own end and skating it out. Draw will be right close to us. One to the boards by Edwards. They got it to Benji Pepper as Mitchell now flipped it in. to the Twins' end. But right back down to the Vic zone. Cedric Compte tries to play this around to Luke Elliott, but cut off by Dominic Canoe. A few Twins in there join the battle. A few Vics bumping bodies down low. Benji Pepper still reverse this up the near side, but Hedlund swoops in. Good pinch by him. A sharp angle shot that's turned aside and out of play by Tebek with 1.6 seconds remaining. So if they're somehow quick enough, the Twins could get maybe one more shot. As Wong has two players up top of the face-off circle. You only see one usually. Great job by Mitchell on the face-off draw to get enough. A Matthews stick to deny him winning that back, as we're through the first period of action here from St. Vital Centennial Arena. It was Matt Lizotte with the goal to put the Twins ahead. The Vics had the only power play of the game so far. It was a double minor that the Twins ended up killing off. As the Vics apparently 16 shots on net, the Twins with only 9, but great goaltending from Pauls. He had some great saves on some grade A chances from, well, Blake Goretzky and a few other Victorias. Paul showed his good stuff. We're going to break down this period a bit more coming up next. We're going to send it to a promo screen. This period was brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Be sure to check them out today at 995 Miltsteagle Drive, as well as at their website at cancentralsportscards.com. Twins lead 1-0 after the first 20 minutes. We'll see how the Vics respond coming up next and how the Twins will look to build on this lead. And we'll also look to fix our crooked camera angle, as on opening night, adjustments needing to be made by us as well as the teams out there in some aspects. So we'll see what type of changes we see coming up next on this night where we're all rush strong. This game being played in honor of Vic's captain, number 17, Carter Wilson. Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. And welcome back in, Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League fans, into the end of the first intermission. We're going to be dropping the puck on period 2 coming up right away, which is going to be brought to you by Elite Prospects and Terrico. First period was brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. And yeah, first period where it was the Fort Garry Twins who end up taking a 1-0 lead over the Victorias. Shot 16-9 in favor of the Vics during that period. They had a power play, some solid chances, but for the most part, I thought Fort Garry, they were able to kill it off pretty well. Got some big saves from their goaltender and capitalized on their opportunity. Goal from, of course, number 19, Matt Lizotte, to get the scoring going for the Twins. But apologies, mmjhl fans. Wi-Fi sucked tonight to start things off. We couldn't even get a connection, but finally did. Thankfully, this game was also pushed back a bit in preparation for the pregame ceremony for Carter Rush Wilson, as the Victorias entering back onto the ice wearing their whites tonight. Fort Garry, of course, in their standard orange road jerseys. What was fantastic to see was that Carter Wilson will be kept on this year's roster. They've made him their captain. I think that is one of the best ways to honor your former teammate from a hockey aspect, as all the assistants for the Victorias this year in that picture holding that jersey, as Blake Goretzky, Luke Elliott, Connor Mitchell, and Aiden Anderson are the captains, the assistant captains on this year's team, and Wilson's jersey is going to be hung on the Victoria's bench all season long. They have number 17 stickers on their helmet as well this season to commemorate Carter Wilson, and I'm not too sure, but they may be doing something with their jerseys too. Or no, they did do something with their jerseys. They ended up wearing custom-made warm-up jerseys, Rush Strong warm-up jerseys with number 17 on the back of all of them. And this crowd for the first game of an mmjhl season, it's been great. It's been a great game so far, as we're now underway for the second period, as we've also fixed our camera angle a bit too, as you can see. This period, of course, brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance and Elite Prospects. Not by Terrico. That'll be the third period sponsor, as Pauls was out of his own net to play that. Goretzky sends it from the point on net and turned aside there by Pauls. For Goretzky, he had himself a great first period, in my opinion. Was very involved in both ends of the ice, notably the offensive side where he went end to end a few times. It's just, here we go again as he tries to slide that over to Mitchell. As number 3's dancing on opening night. And we love to see it. I'm sure he'd love a bit more finish, though, as this Vicks team still searching for their first goal of the game. Not even a minute into the period, though. That shot wide of the net, but dangerous as it just brushed past Alex Pauls. The Twins now getting into the Victoria zone. Dropped off for Balashaw. Takes it to the net himself. Turned aside by Tebek. It's number 30 kicking out the pad well. The right pad to deny number 11. So if there's one player that could beat you at any given time on this team this season for the Twins, it's David Balashaw, naming him their captain this year. Is that to Lazat? Shot turned aside by Tebek. Loose puck swallowed up by the Vicks high slot, and they break out the other way. Sent in by Cross. So it's Dinez who chases after it. Dinez against Lodzinski. Shoves him down, gets this free to the point, but through both of his defensemen and all the way back down to the Vic zone as we pick up pace here to start off this second period. Nice job by Jackson Green putting on the brakes before passing this cross ice to Nell. His pass intercepted at first, gets it back. Now this time sends it down for an icing. So he tried to locate Liam Saxberg with the pass. Up ice near the Twins blue line. This face-off draw will be to the near side of our broadcast angle, taken by Jace Matthews for the Twins. Looked like it was won by 16 initially, but the Vicks able to get possession of it. Astorino has to try one more time to send this in deep. Look out down below for the Twins, trying to break this out. As Jace Matthews just flips this with the backhand in the direction of Canoe. Hunts this down as Canoe puts it on the brakes. Fans on his pass attempt at first, but gets it to safety down low. And Tebek has trouble with it, but just squeezes the pads to keep that out. As it was Luca Biancourt who took that shot. It's the Vicks. Full line change out. Their forwards, their defensemen, all going to be fresh for this upcoming face-off draw. So Matthews will be waved out of the face-off circle. Brings in Biancourt now. As Biancourt able to win the draw. Scooped up by Jace Matthews. Backhands that below the goal line. Just tries to get this cycle going. Gets to Canoe now as he's pinned up along the boards by number 22 and Dylan Jaquette. Just trying to scoop this out now. Leave number 4 and Cedric Compte. Compte able to play this up the near side boards in his own end, and he'll go for a skate as Compte uses the boards to his advantage into the Twins' end now as he lost the puck but left his mark. Gave a little shot to a Twins player. Now he has his stick lifted as it gets to Hillis. Hillis on to Carter Lee's stick. Lee tries to send that cross ice into the direction of Tyler Free. Is Free versus this opposite side on the Twins end. The Twins able to get it out. Garry took a bump as he sends this down for an icing. As this period brought to you by Elite Prospects, the most informative hockey player database on the web today. Sure to check them out. Of course, I'm sure you know their website very well at eliteprospects.com. That's Mitchell Hill to take the draw. Won it towards the boards, but Dinez lost the battle to Caligari. Strong holding up the blue line, though, allows for the Vicks to keep this in the Twin zone. I believe Matthews flips that out. Really picked up by Pepper. Pepper, his pass can't get past Biancourt. Forces the turnover as number 22. Driving to the net, draws a penalty in the process. Stabek was able to make the save, but it'll be the first power play of the game for the Fort Garry Twins. Will be brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance. I believe it's 2 minutes for a trip. So we got to see the Twins power play unit go to work for the first time tonight. As it'll be to Balshaw at the point, plays it to Hedlund. Hedlund surveys, dishes it to Lizotte. Lizotte over to Hedlund. Is Hedlund back to Lizotte. Holding off on shooting for now as the Vicks clogged up the shooting lanes really well. But that, a nice pass to open it up, cross ice, denied. On that shot was Lizotte by Tebek. But great vision there from Balshaw. Sees that window open ever so slightly to send it back cross ice, and he does exactly that. Crisp on the tape of Lizotte. He just gets bested by Tebek on that chance. Hedlund now walks in. His shot blocked by Luke Elliott. Nice job by 12 to get in the lane. Don't think it felt the best, though, as that was a heavy shot coming through. Luckily, caught most of his stick on the block. So we got another face-off draw, and it's won by the Twins. Kicked up to Hedlund as Hedlund sends it back to Lizotte. Top of the left face-off circle now. Back up to Hedlund to Lizotte. Passed off into the feet of Hedlund. Now into the feet of Lizotte. Couldn't cradle that, and now takes it across to Balshaw. As Balshaw ends up going off of Victoria and goes out of play. So the Twins are going to keep their first unit out. A minute 10 remains on their power play. So another face-off draw will be won by the Fort Garry Twins. Up to Balshaw. Balshaw, a cross-ice feed to Hedlund, but can't keep that in as number 14. As they'll have to regroup in their own end. As this drop back to Balshaw. Balshaw feeds it far side to Spencer. Spencer challenged by Cross and robbed out along the boards by number 7. Now Spencer pins up Cross along the boards. Gets this free to Balshaw. Up top to Hedlund. Hedlund, D-to-D pass to Lizotte. Lizotte near the hash mark. Stops up. Feeds this right back to the top of the point to Hedlund. Hedlund to Lizotte. Lizotte down low now to Matthews as he tries to go off. Penner, that rebound swallowed up by number 30. It turned aside with 26 seconds left. On the Victoria's penalty. Draw will be won by the Victorias, but can't get it out as Barnes holds the line. Cross ice feed to Canoe. Canoe steps up, shot turns aside by Penner. Ends up being sent back to Canoe as he goes cross ice to Barnes. 10 seconds left in the power play now. Canoe down low feed, side of the net, gets it right back as Canoe sends it right back where he got it from to number 6 in Hamill, but Hamill couldn't cradle it. We're back to even strength as the Twins send that on net, but wide of it goes. Barnes steps up from his point position and gets it down low. Spinorama pass, can't find the slot as that was clogged up well that lane by number 4 in Compte. So remains down low in the Twins' end for now. First one on it, Hamill tries to chip it up the far side boards, but unable to do much with it as the Vicks get it right back down low. Circling now, oh, nice move by Dinez, but can't keep track. That puck couldn't catch up to it. It'll be cross ice to Compte. Feeds this D-to-D. Number 13 in Jackson Green. Green tried to get it to Astorino. Astorino had it taken away. Dinez. So we go D-to-D again. That into the skates of number 11 in Mitchell Hill. Astorino right there, laid a bump. Able to get the puck back into the Vic zone now as they establish. Backhand feed by Dinez, unable to get through as it was clogged up well by 4. Garry in front of their own net. Canoe just before the blue line sends this in. He'll go off for a change. They got some fresh bodies out on the ice. As Kolbiski felt like he was maybe interfered with there as the Vics sent a pass right back down into the Twins zone. Carter Lee hounding Holmes on the forecheck, forced a turnover. So it'll be free down low. Lost his battle. So did number 20 in Lee as he circles towards the slot. This held in by Cross, sent wide of the net in the Twins' end. As the Twins look to flip it out, they do that. Just past the outstretched stick of Goretzky, but the Vics get it right back down as Paul's out of his own net. Plays this around the boards quickly. Goretzky able to hold the line. Somehow number 3 got there with great speed. So he's in a board battle right now with a few of his other teammates. As Dylan Jaquette in the vicinity. He's down low now. Tried to get that back from home. It's at the point. Cross, his shot. Unable to get through. Twins feed that up into the skates of number 7 in Gruner. This wasn't meant to be for the Twins that time around. Down low, this sent by Kobe Edwards. Will be kicked up onto the stick of Free as he sends that cross point to Willis. Willis somehow kept it in, sent it down low. Now it's Elliott. Elliott shields this puck, sends it towards the point. Look out, almost too many men. Almost on the way there for the Vics. They're able to just hop out of the way. It's a heady play by Mitchell. Mitchell now tries to dangle his way through, unable to. Towards the net, the Vics blocking away at it. Loose puck still there. Mitchell trying to backhand it in, but the Twins somehow keep it out. That shot from Willis blocked up by a wall in front of their own net by the Twins. As the Vics, their coaching staff, urging them to push this up ice quickly, trying to catch the Twins off guard. As they get some fresh legs on. Great pressure there from the Victorias. But still unable to find the finishing touches. The Twins doing a really good job of defending right now in front of their goaltender, blocking those rebound shots up. As for Hedlund, tries to play this up the far side boards, but it was clogged up there by, I believe, Ostorino. He loses the puck in a board battle, but gets it right back. Ostorino, he unloads that, turned aside by Paul as a rebound into the slot, cleared away by the Twins. This glove down, no hand pass called. Ostorino at the point. Nice job to get it to Saxberg, whose shot was turned aside by Paul's. A nice glove save by number 33. Face-off draw won by the Victorias in the Twin zone as it gets rimmed around. Played D to D. So the Vics able to hold this in. D to D it goes. Pepper with the shot wide of the net, off of the backboards. That puck shot on net by the Vics again. Now Saxberg with a backhand on net, denied by Paul. Saxberg gets it back, tries a Michigan move, but they can't keep that on his tape. The Twins hemmed in here in the last few minutes of this period. They're able to finally get it out as Hedlund rushes up into the play, lost his stick. He's tried to make a move past Victoria. Now it gets to Spencer, kicks it to the outside. Spencer still holds on to it. He couldn't quite get that shot through, blocked up well by Jorgenell. Just taken away by number 5 in Dinez. With speed coming in, Dinez one-on-one on Hedlund, sends that to the net. Just paddled away by Pauls. Picked up now by Spencer. Spencer along the boards. He gets ridden out. Number 13 for the Vics and Jackson Green. That shot denied by Beck. So the Vics able to send it out. Caligari, D to Lodzinski. Lodzinski right back to Caligari, into the skates, right back to Lodzinski as the Twins able to get by into the big zone as that turned aside by Tibet Matthews with a shot. Jace Matthews take the draw again. Tie up in the face-off circle from the two centermen. It's now taken away by Compte down low, but has his pass to an outlet man intercepted as he tried to hit Godfrey with it. As Godfrey lays the body on number 22 in Biancourt. Lodzinski at the point. DDD now. Caligari down low, bottom of the right face-off circle to Canoe. Back up top to Caligari. His shot turned aside by Quebec. So it got through a bit of traffic. So we'll have a face-off just to the left-hand side of Quebec in the Vic zone. Let's draw one by the Twins. Played down low as Biancourt pins up a man along the boards. Snell in to help. That's Cross. He's trying to evade the battle. Huge hit there on Canoe. Didn't even have the puck. But no call from the referees. Just played up to Carter Lee. Lee can't get that pass across back to Free. The Free in the corner goes to battle with Lodzinski. Bump number 23 down. But Lodzinski had support. The Twins will play that up in their own end. And finally sent back in to the Victoria zone where Quebec out to play this. It'll remain below the net line. That's what we get in the penalty coming up here. So we bring elite prospects onto the screen. We'll send the Vics on to their first power play of this period, second power play of the game. So they had one back in the first. Get you the call in just a moment. Really, the Vics, who last time out had a 4-minute advantage. This time it'll only be 2. Had some decent chances, but I'm sure a bit more offensive zone time would like to be seen here from their coaching staff and just from their team as they try to go tic-tac-toe quickly, but pass cut off in the slot. And all the way down to the Vic's end. This got sent off the turnovers. Canoe's in the box, 2 minutes for a tripping, I believe. Might have been roughing. So Victoria's control on the outskirts of the Twins, and Goretzky dishes this off to Dinez. His shot turned aside by Pauls. Dinez has had some good looks with his shots tonight. His chances in the offensive zone. But it's been Pauls who's had all the answers here tonight so far against any shooter the Vics have brought at him. As Goretzky, this draw one back to him. Goretzky to the middle. His shot just wide of the net. As he dragged it to the top of the point. Middle ice in the Twin zone. He's calling for it again. A big blast denied by Pauls. Goretzky in Ovi's office there. Net off. We got a stoppage in play. But man, they're just coming off so lively off of number 3 stick tonight. Just so effortlessly too. Looks like he could even put more into the shot. But Paul's great reaction time, knows it's going to be quick. He expects it. Great positioning from number 33 as the Victorias win the draw. It's played back to Goretzky again as his shot snagged by the glove of Pauls. The Vics doing a good job getting traffic in front of the net. And a great job on the face-off draw by Dinez, getting it quickly back to the point to safety every single time. Played D to Saxberg. Saxberg has to do a double take, lost the puck. Now it's scooped up by Goretzky again. Saxberg with a one-time blast, turned aside by Pauls. As Victoria down, Saxberg with another shot, turned aside again by number 33. That pass couldn't be cradled in by Dinez as it ends up back down to the Victoria zone. With 22 seconds left on what's been a really good power play for the Victorias. Just still looking for their first goal of the game. Connor Mitchell look to do it himself. Maybe not. Has a teammate with him, as well as one up top. High slot is that shot wide of the net, high of it, from number 13 and Jackson Green. As we do get back to even strength, nothing doing for the Vics. We'll see if they can continue to use this momentum, though, late in this period. So that brought to you by Elite Prospects. Still 1-0 the Twins lead. They survive and do get it out all the way into the Vic zone. No icing call on the play. That's flipped down into the Twins' end again by the Vics. So we played to Balshaw. Balshaw gets taken down hard there. Number 16 and Godfrey laid a check on him. On the Twins captain this year, Mitchell now protecting near side boards. Makes his way towards the net, but fanned on that shot. Maybe it was a pass attempt from number 11. As he gets a bit physical in the corner. Luke Elliott will rim this up to Jorgen Nell. Holds the line to a wide open D-man. D-to-D pass. That shot wide by Willis. Is Willis able to... Nell able to send it right back in. As the Victorias heavy on the forecheck. Great job by Hill. Winning this puck battle down low. Got it into the slot. Hill whacking away at it in front of the net, but Paul's able to cover it up. As he so often has tonight. With 4:07 remaining in this period, the Vics all over the Twins since getting onto the power play. They've carried over that good momentum, the good offensive zone time they built up on the power play into their even strength play afterwards here. And they got their most experienced line out too. As down low, Luke Elliott pinned up along the boards. Edwards swoops in for support, gets this puck. Tried to send it back down low, but had it cut off by number 19 and Lizotte, the only goal scorer in this one so far. He sent it across to Balshaw. That shot wide of the net from number 11 as a big hit at the point there. Number 23 on number 23. It was Edwards on Lazinski. So now this clear out attempt from the Vics gets past Lazinski. Stretched up into the neutral ice, but into the body. That turned over by Mitchell. Tried to sidestep a Twin, but it gets spun around a bit. Sent right down to the ice. It's the Victorias. They'll be the first ones on it in their own end. As this, a chance for Carter Lee. Gets behind the Twins defense, denied there by Pauls. Another chance on a long rebound. Pauls didn't have to make a save that time. It went off the side of the net instead. As Kolbiski sends this right out of play. Looked like it was going way past the Victoria's bench.
Again, tonight's winning 50-50 ticket number is 3108. Please claim your winnings at the front desk.
As 2:54 remains in this period. Twins up 1-0 still. The Victoria is very close to equaling the score here. As that low slot opportunity on that pass. Now a high slot opportunity, fanned on that shot. It's off the stick of Ostorino. So the Victorias went D-to-D in the neutral ice before sending this in deep again. Dinez had a chance out in front. Same with Ostorino. Dinez forces a turnover almost here on the forecheck. Near boards the Twins, and the Twins able to get this all the way out back into the Victoria zone, where Victoria's have had good transitions throughout this period. A large part as to why they haven't spent much time in their own end. Also taking into account that they've been good at shutting down things on the rush here throughout this second frame of action. As the Vics, a nice stretch pass up to Dinez, kicks this out to Ostorino. His shot out of play. The minute 44 remaining. Now look, if these guys are able to stay healthy for the Victorias last year, this was a problem for this squad last season. But Dinez, Ostorino, looking really strong here so far. Saxberg, Mitchell Hill, Been impressed from what I've seen from this group. This Hill down low, hunts after this puck, trying to get possession of it back. It's along the wall, taking the beats was Jackson Green. Sent it right back down low, and Green up in the play, tries to send that pass into the slot. Receiving a pass in tight. Gruner tried to get past Goretzky, but Goretzky shut him down well. As Green couldn't get this in deep. Just gets in deep into the Vicks end instead with a minute remaining approaching on the scoreboard. Hedlund sends this down low back into the Vicks end. It's the Vicks with a bit of trouble. Goretzky, Willis both out there. Willis able to take possession of it for a second. It gets turned over to Goretzky by the Twins. Goretzky, lob pass, but a bit too anxious there was Mitchell at the line. Delayed offside allows for the Twins to be able to break this out. Hedlund spin back to his own end before firing over to Barnes. Barnes past the blue line. He fires that off the blocker of Tobak, turned aside into the corner. Gruner gives a bump on Green down low. Able to get this to Lamoureux, but Lamoureux can't do much with it. Ends up in the glove of Tobak as he's forced to make a save. So 14.8 seconds remaining. Be a face-off draw on the Vic zone. Hamill losing it that time to Mitchell as the Vicks trying to just eat this puck in the corner, keep it there. The Twins with different ideas. Hamill had the puck on his stick for a moment, had it knocked off down low. The Vicks will continue to hold it along the boards down low behind their net, and that'll do it for this second period of action. Shots seemed like there were a lot more put up there by the Vicks than the Twins, comparing the two teams during that period. Vicks, another strong period for them. Had even more offensive zone time at near the end of it. After that power play they had, which they had a lot of chances, grade A opportunities, but just couldn't capitalize on them to get one past Alex Pauls. He's seemingly been the difference tonight, but got to point out for Garry's playing solid defense in front of him when there are those rebound opportunities for the Vicks. Doing a good job of getting man on man. I was trying to hear the shots. Not quite sure what they were, but yeah, the Twins still, even though after they were hemmed in throughout most of that latter half of the period, they're able to get some chances late in that period, some dangerous shots on number 30 in Mason Tobak. It started off with a strong start for the Vicks during that period, produced some offensive zone time. The Twins answered back, but it was mostly the Vicks period, but no goal to show for it. They're still down 1-0 against this Fort Garry Twins team. In a game where the Vicks tonight playing it in honor of Carter Wilson. We'll see if they can get one in honor of their captain this season. As we are all rush strong tonight, can the Twins continue to do their thing in terms of their goaltending? Alex Paul's making great saves, doing enough to clear away the rebounds, and then producing some opportunities the other way to close this one out. Well, we'll see how they potentially adjust coming up in the next 20 minutes of play, as well as how the Vicks continue to potentially fire away on Alex Pauls. You're watching MMJHL Game Day on your new home for MMJHL Game Day on gshowproductions.uscreen.io. This past period was brought to you by Elite Prospects and Movement, Fitness, and Performance. We'll be back soon here for some more analysis from this second period, and of course the call for the third. And welcome back, Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League fans, into this matchup this evening to open things up for the 2025-2026 regular season here in the mmjhl. It's the Twins that lead the St. Vital Junior Victorias 1-0 after the first 40 minutes of play. Scoreless second period of action, which saw for Garry fare a bit better in the shot category, as shots were 14-13 in favor of the Vics in that period, 30-22 in favor of the Vics overall in the shot category in this game so far. Vics had some really good looks in that period. Looked really good on their second power play of the game. Created some great chances, just couldn't capitalize on it. Thought that as that period went along, even though the shots saw both teams only separated at 1 apiece, as the Vics had, 14-13. Thought that they had more of the offensive zone time as that second went along. And for Garry, just did enough to be able to survive the pressure that was sustained by the Victorias. And as for the Twins, doing a great job of attacking on the rush, getting in on the forecheck themselves, and creating a bit of offensive zone time, especially in the final minute of that period. And it's going to be interesting to see which team comes out stronger. Thought the Vics started off stronger throughout that period. In the second, through the first minute and a half, a turnover allowed for Garry to be able to get it out, or when they regained possession of the pocket, and then they started to put together an attack going the other way into the Victoria zone. So, yeah, both goaltenders have made big saves, key saves when they've needed to in this one tonight. As we should be in for quite an entertaining third period of action, of course, in this matchup tonight. In honor of Carter Rush Wilson, we'll mention it again, is going to be the captain of this year's Victoria's team. It is the captain of this year's Vic's team. They have his jersey hung up on their bench in memory of him. Great to see how they honored him before the game, especially in warm-ups, with Rush Strong jerseys. His nickname, of course, being Rush. We'll see what type of efforts his teammates have in this third period to try to get this game back within even, to get their first goal of the season. We are off here. The puck sent into the Vic zone to start things off. And the Twins open up this third period with a huge goal that gets waved off. Right away from the referee, I believe he calls that the net is off. And as for Lucas Spencer, rookie for the Twins, who seemingly put that in the back of the net, he'll have to wait for his first career mmjhl marker. So I was in the middle of posting on our Instagram that we are in fact live for this game. Thought we might have not been. We've been recording it just in case. The Wi-Fi acts up. And things have been cooperating here. Would have been great to be able to get the Vics in warm-up showing their jerseys. But just happy to be able to get this game out. No way we weren't going to on a special occasion tonight at the Centennial, honoring the memory of Carter Wilson, As this stretched up, Mitchell took a bump. Looks like he's trying to shake it off. He's going to the bench, trying to get off for a change as his line mates and Luke Elliott. Only Luke Elliott remain out there as Dinez and Saxberg out there with number 12 right now. Hedlund down the near side, able to sneak that pass to Beck, and that goal will count for the Twins. As number 14 in Hedlund, defenseman going end to end. Up that right side, puts it past the wickets of Tebek, past his 5-hole for that goal. Brought to you by Terrico, our third period sponsor, serving Manitoba producers for over 80 years in the agricultural industry. So Victoria's with more work to do now to try to get back within even in this one. That goal coming just a minute into this third period of action. It's played D to D to Willis as Willis feeds this up ice to Dinez. Redirects this into the Twin zone past the red line. First one on it, I believe it was Buoncourt. As Buoncourt takes a bump along the Vicks bench there. Gets it right back and just whacks it into the Vicks zone as Willis tries to step up in the play. He did, and sends it all the way down before going off for a line change. Delayed offside now for the Victorias as it allows for the Twins to set up a breakout pass, but that turned over. Dinez picks it off as that shot turned aside by number 33 in Pauls. Believe it might have went off the side of the net even. This sent down by Pepper. It's back in the direction of Dinez. Now Mitchell Hill along the boards. Tried to rub out a Twin, but unsuccessful as the Twins able to break this out. Cross-ice feed to Canoe. Canoe sends this in deep into the Vicks zone off the boards. As the Vicks turn this up ice. Pepper up to Edwards as he redirects that back in down the near boards. Edwards lays a hit on number 29 and Garry, who gets this up to Canoe. Canoe locates Garry down the near side. Garry, high slot for Buoncourt, but Buoncourt unable to get a shot off. That shot from distance outside of the Vic zone turned aside by the pad of Tebek. Had to be ready for it. As bodies collide near the boards closest to us. So be picked up by Lamoureux now. Opposite boards of the rink as he tries to dangle past Victoria, but unable to. He got stood up a bit. Is Tebek able to cover that up? So we get a face-off inside the Victoria zone coming up. It'll be Lamoureux taking it against Dylan Jaquette. Lamoureux able to get the better of Jaquette that time around. Twins looking to possess the draw now, or the puck off of the face-off win. It's played to Gruner. To Goretzky. Goretzky now. Bit of trouble with it. Finds an open man. Gets it to safety to Cross. Cross locates a man in the neutral zone, and Lee up to Jaquette. Rebound there, but denied by Pauls. Held in at the point by the Victorias as that shot from distance turned aside by Pauls once again. He's been so locked in tonight. Whether it's second chances, third chances for the Victorias, he's had the answer. It's Dinez to take the draw against Hamill. Hamill able to win it, tying up Dinez on the draw, but the Vicks quickly on it. They get possession back. That's Saxberg. Sends it to Astorino. Astorino back down low to Saxberg. Tipped in front. That redirection, but unable to beat Pauls. As Dinez was parked right on top in the crease in the Twin zone. Dinez tries to send that back to the high slot where Saxberg got a piece of it to shoot it. Again, the better piece of it was Paul's to make the save. With 15:42 remaining, but that's, winning puck battles down low, being able to win on the forecheck, getting past it to the slot. That's something the Vics have done often. As this game has gone along, it's continued here in this third. Just either unable to quite get those passes through sometimes, or Pauls is right there to make a really key stop. This team has needed him to when things are broken down. So this Vic's forecheck has given the Twins some fits. Now they're able to beat it as Balshaw, he unloads that shot off a body blocked out of play. With 15:13 remaining in this third period of action. It's Connor Mitchell to take the draw against Lizotte. Won by Mitchell in the Vics as Goretzky sauces this out all the way back down into the Twins zone. Nice job by Edwards to beat his man with speed to get there first, negating this icing. Luke Elliott tries to send that in front of the net. I couldn't get there to Connor Mitchell. Maybe got away with a slash there. So I believe the Twins bench was calling for it. As now Fort Garry stretches Lizotte up as Lizotte has a goal already in this game, has possession of this puck in the big zone, but turns it over. Saxberg couldn't find a handle on it to control the neutral zone, allowed for the Twins get it back and send it right back in to the Victoria zone. But this stretch pass up to Ostorino finds him, has a man with him. Ostorino, great patience, but what a save by Pauls, getting across to Rob, number 8 in Saxberg. Highway robbery there from number 33. As what a play made by Ostorino to get that over to his teammate in Saxberg. But like he has all night long, Pauls has had this team's number. But quite often is this. Front of the net now, Tebek denies Spencer. Tebek ended up getting us a stoppage in play. We have a face-off to his glove hand side, won by the Victorias. Jorganell quickly up to Carter Lee, lost a handle on that pass attempt out, so allows for the Twins to keep this in. Canoe, awkwardly along the board, stumbles as Holmes from the point has that shot turned aside by Tebek. Taken away now by Biancourt. Biancourt, he tries to unload that on net, goes wide instead. As the Twins turning up the pressure a bit. Yes, Jace Matthews in the neutral zone, back into his own end, plays this to Biancourt, but out of play. Gets us another stoppage. Face-off draw will be just outside of the Twin zone. Dylan Jaquette will be the one to take the draw out there with Free and Carter Lee as the Victoria is able to win possession on that face-off draw win. Was pulled out of his own net to play that. Had to be careful as the Victoria was right there to almost take it away. This off of the glass all the way back down to the Vic zone, and an icing will be called. Face-off draw will be back down inside the Twin zone. So Victoria's trying to take advantage, get some fresh legs out. This line that's been buzzing, they're right back out. It's Dinez along with Saxberg and Ostorino. So that shot from Cross went wide of the net. The Twins pick up possession of it, and Canoe tries to make his way past Cross, but unable to in the Victoria zone. The Vic skating the other way now. It's Dinez, side of the net. Goes off of the side of the mesh. There's Dinez into the slot for Ostorino, but couldn't cradle that pass in. Maybe a bit too hard for number 9 to handle. Victoria played heavily into the boards there by Cross. No call on the play. Sorry, it was Cross who went into the boards, a twin that sent him into it. As Goretzky will pick up some speed now through the neutral zone. Matthews blows a tire. Goretzky past him. Can't get past. Number 33 pulls with that shot. Rebound. There the Vicks finally do score. They put it into the back of the net. As a rebound finally gets to a Victoria. It's Astorino who cuts. The Twins lead into one. The deficit smaller now for the Vicks. That also, number 9, in Chris Astorino's first goal in the mmjhl. Brought to you by Terrico. But this play starts with Blake Goretzky. He's been impactful, like we've mentioned, on all ends of the ice tonight. But most notably, his work into the offensive zone on the rush gives new life to this Victoria's team. Well, him and, of course, Chris Astorino. He's the one who puts it into the back of the net. We'll get into Goretzky's goal, or set up on that goal in just a moment. But the Vicks absolutely buzzing right now. mmjhl tries getting that pass into the slot, but taken away by this Twins team. Gruner is cut off at the blue line. Just had to send that shot on net as the Vicks try to send this out cross ice. So of course, Terrico was the sponsor for that goal. We'll leave him up on the screen for a bit longer here. As Hedlund, his shot, most recent goal scorer for the Twins. So that was turned aside from outside the zone by Tebek. To an outlet man. That pass fed up, now fed into the neutral zone. Dylan Jaquette just past the red line, sends that in deep. He goes off for a change. So the Victorias get fresh legs out. Same line that just created a goal back out. The rookie line for the Victorias, unable to send that through. So it's blocked up by Barnes. Barnes rims this around with purpose to get it out. So the Victorias couldn't hold it in. The Twins getting fresh legs out, a line change. That stretch pass all the way down off the boards, but it seemed to be tipped by a linesman, so no icing called on the play. The Twins looking to not turn it over in their own end. They do indeed just get it out as Hamill loses his stick. This carried in now by Babenko. Babenko sends this cross ice to an open point man in Garry. His shot turned aside by Tebek. Sit dip down. Hit him in the left pad. A low shot from the point man. As the Twins D may have another chance. They had a shot on net instead. This is passed off to Babenko, who takes a big hit along the boards. No, sorry, rather laid a big hit out along the boards. Oh, sorry, it was actually Babenko who gets hit. As Astorino ends up going to the box for the Victorias. It is a Victorias penalty. A Twins power play coming up here. Should be brought to you by Terrico. Second power play of the game for Garry. The Twins killed off the first one. Hedlund able to glove that down. A one-handed catch, but unable to keep it in are the Twins afterwards. As Mitchell will be first one on it here for the Victorias. Tried to get that pass over to Luke Elliott's side of the net, but went off of his stick and turned over right away to Balshaw, who carries this into the Victoria zone. Balshaw finds Hedlund with the pass. Hedlund now will skate this down low. Hedlund tries to feed it to the slot. He does. That denied by Tebek. Rebound still there. Or so we thought. Tebek had to cover it up. He Twins near side of our broadcast angle, the Vic zone, so it gets rimmed around, and Dylan Jaquette able to get this out successfully off the boards. All the way back down into the Twin zone this goes is David Belshaw. Knows he has some time. Just drops this back to Hedlund as Hedlund surveys his options. Whips it cross ice to Lazat, but the pass off the mark. The Twins able to pick up this loose puck now. Edwards, his shot blocked up by Hedlund. Huge from number 14. As he sacrificed the body. As Edwards. Strong on the forecheck, and now a big hit delivered. And a tripping penalty coming up. Or maybe even more than that is the retaliation on Edwards. Oh, his cage is off. I believe he got high-sticked in the helmet. As the trainer immediately checking if Edwards is okay. Drama here all of a sudden is Edwards reeling as he goes to the bench. And it's his big hit on Lazat right outside of the penalty box that ends up, well, in the end, drawing a penalty for his Victorias to get us back to even strength here. And I'm going to look back in the stream. He goes down hard. So he lays the hit. And no, you can't do that if you're for Garry. Player comes in right behind Edwards. That isn't Lazat. Not quite sure who it was. Sue's in the box coming up once they do call out who the penalty is on. But yeah, there's no room for that in this game. I get it, you're standing up for your teammate, but in all honesty, it's a clean hit there by Edwards on Lazat, even though it's a bit of a heavy one. And when you're up in this game with under 10 remaining, with 42 seconds left on a power play, and you're up by 1, going up against a victorious team, which you know they want this one badly. So we'll take a look at the keys to the game here as we await things. But yeah, how these two teams have fared here tonight, I think the Vics have done a pretty good job of handling their emotions on what is a very emotional night. Matt Lazat getting kicked out of this game now, by the way. So he will be gone for the night. Like, it didn't look like him who ends up taking the penalty. Back once again. So it might have been Lazat. I don't know. It happened pretty quickly as I do a double take. So, yeah, look back for it for yourselves. Take a look at who might have gotten the penalty. We're going to get that info coming up in terms of who the referees called right away. But, yeah, I think that the Twins, for the most part, have kept it simple tonight. For the most part, they've been disciplined. Only 2 penalties up until this most recent one. But in terms of playing it simple, it's about establishing your forecheck, getting some offensive zone time, right? Creating chances, creating shots off the rush when there may not be any other play to make, like a pass to your teammate. So I think the Twins have done a decent job of that in tonight's game, all of their keys to the game. And for the Victorias, for the most part, like I said, they've handled their emotions well. They've been pretty good for the most part in their own end. Good with their puck management. Yeah, that last point. Win it for Carter. It's what this team is striving to do here tonight. As we still are on a Twins power play, I guess. So I guess they get away with one. So it must have been the retaliation after to defend Edwards. Victoria's with 2 players in the penalty box, as that ends up being the case. Don't honestly agree with that. Think we should be at 4-on-4. It's 2 minutes for checking from behind and a game misconduct from Lizotte, which makes me think, did they get the wrong guy? Because it's like the other player that wasn't Lizotte, that was a twin, ended up being the one to lay that hit from behind. No matter what, though, we're back to even strength as Terrico makes its way off the screen. Now the Vics make their way into the twin zone. Cross, a dangerous shot that Pauls just gets a piece of. Cross was making his way down that near side boards. There's more chippiness in front with 7:37 remaining, as Paul's got things covered up. And sends the puck all the way back down into the Vic zone there. As that ends up being another penalty to the St. Vital Junior Victorias. Davis Koga, assistant coach, one of the assistant coaches for the Victorias, not too pleased. I wouldn't be pleased either, Davis. Yeah. I mean, it looked like your typical net front scrum. I suppose the refs just didn't like the liberties that the Victorias took after the whistle. Continue to hack away, searching for that rebound. Yeah, 7:37 remains. It's the Victorias back down a man. 5-on-4 here for the next 2 minutes for the Twins to work with. They try to work it up to the point, but this cut off right away by number 22 and Dylan Jaquette, who's just able to get this out. Of course, Jaquette related to number 22 last season on the Vics, and Brady Jaquette, older brother of Dylan. Great to see the Jaquette legacy living on, though, through Dylan on this Junior Victoria's roster this season, as he also played on them last season as a rookie. As Jaquette able to potentially almost force a turnover. He did get it out of his own end, but couldn't cradle that puck to make it into the offensive zone. Hedlund did a nice job of shutting him down. Hedlund got it down low to Kolbiski, who gets it to Balshaw. Balshaw back up top to Hedlund. Hedlund back to Balshaw. Balshaw shot from a sharp angle at the left face-off circle's hash marks. Turned aside by Tebek. As a minute 01 has gone so far in this Twins power play. 59 seconds remaining. With 6:36 remaining in this third period. The Vics, of course, a goal from Chris Astorino ended up cutting down this lead to 1 a while ago now in this third period. Since then, we've seen more penalties piling up, more players getting into the box. In fact, the second power play now for the Fort Garry Twins, which, hey, give St. Vital credit, done a pretty darn good job of killing this one off so far. Under 30 seconds remain in the man advantage as Fort Garry forced to break out from their own end again. Now back into the Vic zone. Balshaw tries sending that back door, but pass couldn't quite get there for Hamill. Hamill to Canoe. Nice play by Canoe. To one touch it to himself. Canoe tries to make a move in the corner. Loses the puck. Hamill in there for support. 2 seconds remaining on the power play. The Vics, they kill it off. It's to a point man in Balshaw, who, acting as a point man there, was denied by Tebek. Balshaw now joins the battle down low, but the Vics able to transition out with ease. As it's Carter Lee. His shot turned aside by the pad of Pauls, looking for a rebound. But too good on the control there was Pauls to put it in to some safe ice for the Twins. So they try to get it out It's turned over instead, right at the blue line. It's Jaquette. Forced to regroup. Took it back into his own end as he goes off for a change after dishing that pass out to number 21 in Jorgen Nell. It'll be to Mitchell Hill, who passes this up. It gets redirected off the stick of Carter Lee. Just before the blue line, Hill pins up Caligari. Lee lays the body on Caligari, knocking him down. No call from the referees. So they let these two teams play here. Thought that could have been interference. Maybe even some interference there. That shot turned aside by Tebek. This thing's really picking up. Nell just got hit from behind right away. The refs joining the scrum to break things up as things are really escalating here at the Centennial. Jorgen Nell right away. Look awkward trying to get back to his feet. Took a hit right in the numbers. And we're just going to wait here to see which team gets called for what. This should be a penalty coming up to the Twins. No question about it. As a blatant boarding call. A blatant hit from behind from Tim Lodzinski on Jorgen Nell. And look, the offense, the player with the puck, of course, he always got a scan, but as a player, that's coming down to hit the player in that position with the puck on his stick. Has his numbers turned towards the boards. And we'll take a look back, actually, to see if Nell turns into anything. Oh, he's facing the boards all along. If you look back, it seems to be a board battle looks to ensue. A bump at first, and then afterwards, Nell ends up getting hit from behind. A few moments for that puck battle had started. But Mitchell getting some answers for the Vicks. Balshaw trying to get some answers for his Fort Garry Twins. As we take a look here. What game day broadcasts you can expect to see from us this year? In October's, I should say. So we're partnering up with Prairie Sports Network to bring you 21 games in total coming up this month. All games will be broadcasted on gshowproductions.uscreen.io, where you're watching this matchup tonight. So yeah, 21 games in total for this month. We're going to release November's schedule closer to November. And as we take a look at opening weekend schedule, we'll have Railers broadcasted tomorrow, as well as Riels and Canucks on Sunday. Be sure to check out the MMJHL's website at mmjhl.ca to take a look at the full schedule, where they also have our games linked in there where we're doing them. Yeah, doubleheader on opening night. We'll get to who is winning in the Stonewall Jets and Raiders Junior Hockey Club game too very shortly. So last time I checked earlier on, I know Stonewall had a 2-0 lead. But yeah, triple header tomorrow, and then all teams on action on Sunday as the MMJHL is officially back. The referees right now still having a conversation with the timekeepers, trying to make sure they get everything right on the board. We're going to remain at 5-on-5 after all of this. So I believe both teams, it's coincidentals once again. As draw one by the Victorias. So they transition out of their own end. And here's Saxberg, whose shot just goes wide. As a dangerous cut towards the slot from number 8. Behind the net now. Wraparound chance, net off. As the referees deem the net to be off of its bearings. As the Victorias with a glorious offensive attack there. By the way, Stonewall up 6-0 over the Raiders Junior Hockey Club, 14:40 remaining in the third period of action. The Raiders gave up 3 goals in the first period, 2 goals in the second, and have given up 1 so far in the third. And for Stonewall, depth on display tonight. 6 different goal scorers within those 6 goals. They seem to be looking good here on opening night. As for these two teams, they've showed signs of how they can hurt you all night long, as this line could become Ty Anderson's new favorite for the Victorias, as Astorino, along with Saxberg and Dinez, all out there for the Vics. Only vets out there right now for the Vics is Tabak and Goretzky. That shot from Saxberg, dangerous, just caught a piece of Paul's as Spencer whips this out cross ice into the neutral zone. It's sent up back into the Twin zone after the Vics sent it in off of the stick of Astorino. He goes off for a change. As this turned over, it's Luke Elliott who can't hold the handle on it. Edwards, his shot wide of the net afterwards, as the Vics ended up forcing a turnover. Heavy hit down below by Victoria, allowed for them to maintain possession up at the point as that shot turned aside again by Pauls. Now, cross ice to Goretzky. As he hesitated before sending that down low. Sent out in front, no one there for the Victorias as the Twins send that out. And maybe a chance for Spencer. He tries to beat Goretzky to the puck, but Goretzky holds his ground. This will be allowed to be picked up by Kobe Edwards. He tries to build some speed up the near side wall, but Spencer did a good job of cutting off his angle. Luke Elliott trying to chip the puck into the Twin zone, but unable to. This gets sent out of play in the Victoria zone. With 2:20 remaining, could we be expecting a timeout here from Ty Anderson and his Victorias? In the remainder of regulation here, when do we see Mason Tabak pulled? As for the Victorias, also wondering when they'll be looking to get out who's been their best line tonight, the rookie line, and Astorino, Dinez, and Saxberg. Twins have ideas of just holding this down, tried to get a cycle going, but the Vics took it away pretty quickly. Willis now will flip this all the way out and turned over into the neutral zone, allows for the Twins to send this right back in off of the stick of Kolbiski. Picked up in the Victoria zone by Dylan Jaquette. Makes one move to get by a Twin. Now passes this off out of the reach for Free. Free tried to get in on the forecheck. Mitchell Hill in on the forecheck. Circles up to the top of the zone. Great block by Canoe. Not allow that Mitchell chance to get in. For potential chance on Alex Pauls. He's been busy throughout this period. We got a minute 15 remaining in the final period of regulation. Goretzky, he's worked so much magic so far tonight. Created that first goal, tries to create this second goal, but goes wide of the net instead. Glove down in front by the Vics. Rebound there by the side of the net. That goes off of as Victoria goes down. We're into the final minute of this period now with the Vics net empty. First one to pick it up in the Vics zone is Saxberg. He takes it behind his net, finds an outlet man in Goretzky. That, a costly pass. Goretzky plays goaltender though. Makes a big save after almost icing his team himself. Turnover that they're able to avoid. That is a clear interference at the line. Hold on here, we'll have to look back. Mitchell is arguing his case that Matthews runs into him. But instead, this game for the Victoria is ending in tough fashion. Potentially, unless they're able to get something shorthanded, as they call a timeout. Victoria's attacking and coming down on the rush. Mitchell is right there at the blue line. And props to Mitchell tonight. I think he's played probably the cleanest game I've seen him play maybe ever. Hasn't done anything stupid. And there, this penalty that's called on him, that's just a tough break. So I'm taking a look at it right now. We didn't quite catch it well enough on our broadcast angle. It's tough to tell. It looks like the Twins player was already there. And Mitchell ends up sending Jace Matthews down to the ice. It took away a defender against the rush here for the Twins. Interference, of course, a no-no, even in an all-contact league. And as for the Fort Garry Twins, they'll be back onto the power play for what will be the remainder of regulation. With 20 seconds remaining, the Victoria sent it back to the net. They get 5 out as we're even on the ice right now with 5 players apiece. The Victorias have to push, though. What exactly do they have? Into the hands of a rookie in Saxberg. He has that stripped away at the point, knocked off his stick. With 4.5 seconds remaining, the knee-on-knee penalty call, the knee penalty coming up to the Twins. Do we go back to even strength with 4.5 seconds remaining? As that's unbelievable, actually. Saxberg somehow goes to the box. But I don't quite understand. He's the one who makes an offensive move on that play. I guess the refs, their determination on it being that he gets a bit too aggressive and sticks the leg out initially, but with the amount of calls we had in this third period, we finally do see an end of it as the Twins end up fighting through to take this one home by a score of 2-1. The penalties mounted up in this one. Unfortunately for the Victorias, unable to get a win. I thought they played for their fallen teammate in Carter Rush Wilson, but as we were all rushed strong on this Thursday evening at the Centennial, I think that Carter would be proud looking over his team, so I'm sure he was tonight. As I thought the Vics looked good in this game despite the loss. We're going to get into all of it in just a moment. But the final score in this one tonight, 2-1 in favor of the Fort Garry Twins. They never trailed. Brought a 2-0 lead heading into this period. The Vics, even though they fight back on the scoreboard. First goal of Chris Ostorino's mmjhl career. Was able to cut the lead in half. The Vics kept pressing, but Fort Garry got some huge saves in this one. Great defensive plays down the line. Good coverage in their own end. And, controlled this game at points with their offensive zone time. It wasn't perfect for the Twins. I mean, it usually never is on opening night. But no doubt a solid win for them to start things off in a game where the Vics were all over them at certain points of this contest. Really did threaten a lot of danger around the Twins' net. Whereas either the Twins just getting a stick in there to take passes away, or, their goaltender and Alex Paul is coming away with some huge saves. He made some big saves to be a difference maker tonight. In a matchup where, the penalties started to pile up in that third period. There's no doubt about it. We'll see if we got the final scores in. And I do believe we do. We got the shots for sure. Just to let you know what this third period was like, the first 2 periods of this matchup, mmjhl fans, there was 3 penalties in total. 1 to the Vics, 2 to the Twins. Well, the third period penalties ended up being 7 penalties to the Vics, 4 to the Twins. That's 11 penalties in total. Some game misconducts in there. Cross-checking was the bulk of the calls. Checking from behind, boarding's in there, roughing, boarding again, interference. So yeah, tempers kind of flared in that third period. These two teams, hey, we saw them last year. Their games would be chippy as it went along. It'd become chippy as it went along, and that was no different here tonight. But yeah, really was impressed with the young talent the Vics have. Of course, they got some returnees that weren't even in the lineup tonight, like the Andersons. Thought that rookie line looked really strong for them. And as for the Twins, Lizotte stepping up tonight, Caden Hedlund, those are the types of players you're going to need to step up in this season. Of course, you got quality players back like them, David Balshaw and others, Alex Pauls and Ned, but you lost quite a bit of talent from last year's first place team. How do the returnees like Balshaw, like Hedlund, like Lizotte continue to step up as the season goes along? Really like the game from Canoe again tonight, too. Always usually like his game. He's really good on the forecheck and looked like he's improved his skill set a bit, handling the puck. Made some nice skill plays tonight in this matchup. But the big difference, in my opinion, and I know shots might have been close in that third period, but for me, Alex Pauls was the true difference maker for the Twins, and we're going to get into him more coming up in just a moment. As we get into our players of the game now, firstly, we'll be brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance. Going to the losing side in the St. Vital Junior Victorias. My player of the game for them is Blake Goretzky. Had an assist in this game, and for Blake, he was doing more than just defending well in this one. He was engaged in absolutely every play, it seemed like. Activated nicely with his offense, did a lot of damage on the rush, and in fact, the goal that the Victorias score, it's because of the speed he creates coming in on the rush, the moves he puts on the Twins defense to get by, puts a heavy shot on net that Pauls has trouble handling, and then the Vics whack away at it. He was their most impactful player tonight, in my opinion. Even though the Vics, their rookie line was buzzing, Edwards, Mitchell had solid games, Tebec made some nice saves. I think Goretzky was the one that stood out the most tonight for the Victorias. And this game brought to you by Movement Fitness and Performance, a local Winnipeg-owned gym going on 5 years strong at 1111 Winnipeg Avenue in building number 3. Be sure to check them out today if you're looking for a new gym, or if your sports team is looking for a new gym to train at this season together. As for the Fort Garry Twins, in my opinion, they don't get past the Victorias with a victory tonight if it's not for one in Alex Pauls. He made highlight reel save after highlight reel save in this one, especially in the third period. Backdoor chance denied. Rebounds were denied all game long. It's just he looked so locked in, so comfortable. Weathered the storm for his team through that first period and allowed for them to get after it and be opportunistic for the most part in this one. As Fort Garry continued to settle into their game as it went along, and of course able to come out with the win tonight in large thanks to number 33 in Alex Pauls, who gets player of the game tonight for this Fort Garry Twins side. Brought to you by Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. So I guess overall thoughts, the Twins, their goaltending is going to be a real threat this season if Alex Pauls continues to play the way he's playing. Could even allow for this Twins team to, maybe who knows how they continue to build as the season goes along and Alex Pauls continues to play the way he's played. Maybe this Twins team works their way back into a championship contending conversation. And a year where it's a big retool for them, losing a bunch of talent. As for the Victorias, even though they end up losing tonight, it's great to see the rink packed in their home opener in this game tonight, honoring Carter Rush Wilson as we were all rushed strong. Like I said, I think Carter would be proud to see the effort his teammates put up tonight. I'm sure he was watching over them tonight. Great speed from the Vics, showcased. Thought that in terms of their own end, it looked pretty good for an opening night game. Definitely things they'll still want to clean up, but for the most part, they didn't really mishandle the puck much in their own end. Fort Garry did a good job on getting on them on the forecheck. That